Good morning, everybody. We have made it to the weekend, and we have made it to yet another rookie. Another drafted rookie by the Seattle Seahawks. We've got two left, two draft picks remain, and then we're going to do some UDFA stuff, and then we're probably going to call it good there. And we're going to wait for things to actually happen with the Seahawks at that point, more or less, because we're in the slow season now. Once we get through these rookie evaluations, there's just going to be a lot of waiting and a lot of anticipating that something will happen with the knowledge that it could be a while before anything happens. But we've got another rookie here, another 6th round pick, another cornerback, another Auburn Tiger product, DJ James. This was the second of the cornerbacks that we took from Auburn this year. Let's unpack him a little bit here. And as always, we're going to start with the numbers. We're going to start with the factual data from his college career. Now, DJ James started in Oregon. He was an Oregon Duck, and then he transferred to Auburn in 2022. So keep that in mind as we go forward here. Cornerback, like I said, 23 years old, just a little under 6 feet tall. So his height is pretty much standard for cornerbacks these days. 55th percentile. 5'11" and 5/8 inches, 175 pounds, which is 2nd percentile, so he is very lean. And that is probably going to be an issue here. I don't think that DJ James is going to be able to find success in the NFL when he's that far down the chart in size. He's also got below average arms at 31 inches, that's 34th percentile, and he's got tiny hands. 8 and 3/8 inch hands. That's 5th percentile. So he's definitely undersized, and that's definitely going to have to be part of the conversation going forward. He does have pretty decent speed, which is a lot of people who watch his a lot of people who watched him play over the years in college felt like he wasn't that quick. He wasn't that fast. So the fact that he's got that kind of speed in a straight line does indicate that maybe it can get better, and it does indicate maybe some promise beyond what he showed in college. But 4.4 240 is 78th percentile. That's good. 1.5 yard split is 82nd percentile, which is also good. So when he's wearing his underwear, when he's running in a straight line on a track, he can move. So at least we got that going for us. He didn't do much other testing that I saw, so that's all we got to go on. 2019 was basically a throwaway season for him. He actually played in 10 games, but only 85 snaps. So, just a little test. 10 tackles, 1 pass defensed, rather. 8 targets, 6 catches for 65 yards, 20 yards after the catch. 98.4 QB rating allowed, 1 missed tackle, 3 penalties. So, you know, he got an opportunity to go out there and at least feel things out. It wasn't all great. 3 penalties and 85 snaps is a problem. We don't like that. 45 of his snaps were coverage, 36 were run defense. Almost all of his snaps came as an outside corner, little bit in the box, little bit as a free safety. And he graded out pretty poorly. His run defense grade was good. Tackling grade was good. But coverage was pretty far down there. That was the main thing dragging him down. Auburn, by the way, Oregon in 2019 had an elite defense. 9th in the country. 16.5 points a game. 2020, this was the COVID year, so he did actually play in every game that year. But again, limited role, 121 snaps, 16 tackles, 1 pass defensed, 11 targets, 7 catches, 78 yards allowed total, 34 of it yak. 84.7 rating in coverage, so some improvements there. A couple missed tackles. Again, most of his snaps come in run defense. Coverage. 51 in run defense. Almost all of it coming as an outside corner. 14 snaps in the box is also a decent sample size, and then a little bit slot and free safety work. Graded out better. Overall, it was an okay season. Small sample size, but run defense grade was pretty good. Tackling was okay. Coverage was okay. Oregon's defense fell off a cliff this year, 28.3 points per game, which was about average for the country, but he made some strides, and He wasn't yet a meaningful part of this defense yet, playing less than 20 snaps a game, but he was on his way. 2021, this was his first full season in college football. Final year in Oregon, he plays 12 games, 706 snaps. So he is a full-time player now, and he started to show some of the things that he could do, and it was pretty good. There's some encouraging signs here for sure. 46 tackles, half a tackle for loss, 2 picks, 4 passes defensed, 57 targets, 30 catches. So slightly over 50% completion when targeted. That's pretty good. 380 yards allowed in coverage. That's pretty reasonable for 57 targets. I will definitely live with that. 92 of those yards were yak. 1 touchdown allowed in coverage for a 64.9 QB rating. That's really quite good. And he also had 2 quarterback pressures on 5 pass rush snaps. So doing a little bit of that as well. Missed 5 tackles, which for 700 plus snaps is good. I can take that. 3 penalties, which, I mean, he had 3 penalties in 2019 in 85 snaps. So to have only 3 in over 700 snaps, pretty dang good. Over 400 snaps in coverage, little under 300 in run defense, 5 in pass rush. 600 corner snaps, 83 box snaps, 11 free safety snaps, 12 slot snaps. So after the corner and box stuff, and the box stuff kind of happens when you as a corner are put in motion and you're in that area when the ball is snapped. Not really a heck of a lot else going on here. And then the 1 snap he had on the defensive line was outside the tackle. Duh. Could you imagine a cornerback who weighs 175 pounds lining up as a nose tackle? Probably not. And graded out well. 71.6. Run defense grade, good. Tackling grade, good. Pass rush grade, pretty good. Not that it matters when you only have 5 of them. Coverage grade, pretty decent. 68.6. That works. Oregon's defense was 75th in the country this year, so not very good. But he seemed to mostly be doing his job. There's not a lot here that you can point to say, oh, that guy's bad. This guy played well. And at this point, he transfers over to Auburn. 2022, he decides to go over to the SEC with the Tigers. And he plays another 12 games, 757 snaps, 37 tackles. So his tackle rate goes down a little bit. 1 tackle for loss, 1 pick. But he does start to develop more ball skills. He's got 8 passes defensed, 59 targets, 24 catches. That's pretty remarkable. I know he's an outside corner, but 24 catches on almost 60 targets, almost slightly over 40%. Really good. Less than 300 yards allowed on 59 targets. I will be very happy with that from any outside corner. 109 of those yards were yak, 2 touchdowns, 61.3 QB rating. So coverage numbers, yeah, we're talking. 5 missed tackles, which again, I mean, I'll live with that over 757 snaps. 4 penalties, not bad at all. You can see the snap splits here. 443 in coverage, 312 as a run defender, 2 pass rush snaps, 705 outside corner snaps, and then a bunch in the box, 39. So consistently, he's being used in one role and one role only in college football. He's an outside corner. Very, very rare he occupies any other role. And that's going to definitely be relevant later when we talk about him. 10 snaps in the slot, 1 snap on the defensive line. Not really even worth discussing. And he graded out really well. 82.3 overall. His run defense grade was just kind of okay. His tackling grade was good. Pass rush grade, I mean, it doesn't matter because it's 2 snaps, but coverage was where he made his bones. 85.7 grade from PFF. Really, really good. So we got something here. Now, Auburn's defense was bad this year. They allowed nearly 30 points a game, but this is a good player. And in 2023, the most recent year, he gives you another 12 games. So playing a lot of games these years. Almost 700 snaps, 38 tackles, 3.5 for loss, 2 picks. So he's starting to become a little bit more of a playmaker. 10 passes defensed. So over the final 2 years of his career, he has 18 passes defensed. He's starting to make plays on the ball. He's developing ball skills. 52 targets, 32 receptions. So not as good as the previous year. 385 yards, which is okay for 52 targets. 109 of it yak. 3 touchdowns. So the coverage numbers aren't quite as stellar, but they're still fine. 87.4 rating. 7 missed tackles, still not a huge problem. It's getting a little bit worse, but I wouldn't call 7 missed tackles across over almost 700 snaps for a tiny cornerback to be a big problem, and 1 penalty. So a lot of good stuff here too. 360 snaps in coverage, 327 in run defense, and 4 as a pass rusher. 605 of his snaps come as an outside corner. He starts to play in the box a little bit more, but again, that's mostly dictated by what the offense is doing. 32 snaps in the slot, so we see a little bit more of that, but for the most part, he still continues to be an outside corner only. 1 free safety snap, 2 D-line snaps. Graded out really well overall, almost an 84. His run defense grade is not where you want it to be. Tackling grade's okay. Pass rush grade, forget it. It's 4 snaps. So he makes his money with his coverage grade, and his coverage grade was considered to be very good, and Auburn's defense was very good. Well, okay, not very good, but pretty good overall in 2023. So we got something here. We got a little something on the hook here. I feel like he had better years than the year he had in 2023 in coverage, but there could be a bunch of reasons why that might be, right? Like Auburn lost Derek Hall last year, so you lose one of your pass rushers. You lose a pass rusher, it becomes harder to cover. You're going to give up more stuff. You know, there's definitely a trickle-down effect here. So if you take a look at the totals for, DJ James over his collegiate career at Oregon and Auburn. Let me even that out a little bit there. 53 games. So we played in a lot of games. 2,360 snaps. So plenty of action across 2 different schools. So pretty good amount of experience. 147 tackles, which seems a little low for how much he played, but I mean, he is an outside corner and he's very small, so it's understandable. 5 for loss, 5 interceptions, 24 passes defensed, which doesn't seem that great, but you have to remember that the last 2 years were the years he really started to show his ball skills. 187 targets, 99 catches, which is, I mean, that seems pretty good to me. If he can maintain that in the NFL, I'm not saying I would expect him to, but that's going to be a win for sure. 1,200 yards allowed on 187 targets. Sign me up. 364 of those yards being yak. 6 touchdowns. Okay. 72.6 QB rating allowed in coverage. Again, like, if he can even have anything close to that success in the NFL, that's very good. 2 QB pressures, 20 missed tackles, and 11 penalties. So in those areas, not too bad at all. And again, a lot of those penalties he had were early on in his career. He had 3 penalties his first year where he barely played. Over 1,300 of his snaps in coverage. Just over 1,000 in run defense. 11 pass rush snaps. And you can see that 2,100 of his snaps almost were as an outside corner. Played in the box. Total of 189 times. 55 snaps in the slot. So not really well-versed doing anything other than playing outside corner. When he gets into the box, it's mostly because of motion. And we are going to have to discuss that later, but that is DJ James by the numbers. Those are the stats that we have on him. So let me know what you think. Let me know what stands out to you, if anything. I'll be back in a few hours, and we will have more to discuss as it concerns DJ James. But those are the stats. Those are the numbers. Those are the metrics. See you guys soon.